Welcome to the Living in Utah live question and answer session here Thursday evening. I try to make it here every Thursday. I did miss last week. It was the holiday weekend and I was trying to head out of town. It's an open forum. You're welcome to ask whatever kind of questions you would like. Tonight, we're going to talk about red states are hiring faster than blue states, and what my take is possibly on the subject. Everybody have a good Memorial Day weekend. It was a very big holiday in Utah. A lot of people were out in their boats and campers and UTVs and big recreational area. So, and I just want to thank Memorial Day. And I'm a big fan of the military. Most people who know me know my military background. And I just had a picture. The real reason why we celebrate Memorial Day, to remember those who did not make it home. So we don't celebrate Memorial Day as a holiday to go camping necessarily. It's to remember the fellow soldiers who are not with us anymore and have given us the freedoms to enjoy hamburgers, hot dogs, steak, vacations, you name it. So I do appreciate it. To all the men and women in our military. So found an article on the Washington Post. I try not to be too political on this channel. Utah is a red state, predominantly a red state. We voted Republican for many years. Anyways, caught my eye of attention. Comes from the Washington Post. Red states are hiring much faster than blue states. So the article states that of the 17 fastest hiring states, 14 of the states voted for Trump in 2020. The top two Mr. Biden voting states, Georgia and Nevada, they are classifying as purple states. And the other state to make up the 17 states was Delaware, which they list as a blue states. The 10 slowest hiring states all went for the current president, Mr. Joe Biden. So it seems as if there's more hiring going on in red states than blue states. And they tied it, the whole article, it goes on for like 4 pages. They tied it to political beliefs, et cetera. But I guess my take was, and it's not in the article, my take is, with some of those numbers that you're looking at, we have had over maybe the last 5, maybe 10 years, a lot of growth, people who have moved from blue states to red states. It's not only individuals that have moved. Companies have moved. They've left high tax states like California, Washington, and moved to Texas and Florida and Utah and a lot of other states that are predominantly you would consider a red state. So when those companies like Tesla leaves California and goes to Texas, I think they went to like Austin, Texas, or they're going to Austin, Texas. More jobs are available. So you have job loss in California. You have job growth in Texas when they move there. So I think that has a lot to do with the article, then possibly the implications that I took from the article of people who voted for Trump against, Mr. Biden. I think it's more the demographics, along with individuals that have left blue states in record numbers to red states. Companies have moved Also, they packed their bags, moved to other states. Well, when they arrived in another state, like here in Utah, well, jobs are offered and they have to fill those positions. And I would assume that wherever they moved from, that would be a job loss. That's my take on it as to why. I thought it was an interesting article. It did catch my attention. Yeah, very, very interesting. Be interested to see what happens next year. There are a lot of people running for the Republican ticket, so more people threw their name in today. I noticed that, speaking of the military, President Joe Biden was at the Air Force Academy doing graduation speech. He did trip and fall today. I saw a little clip about that. Not too sure about the ins and outs, if it was slippery or whatnot, but he was out at the Air Force Academy. So that was the article. Other things going on in the state of Utah right now. It is just, we are in what I call probably one of the most beautiful times of the year. I also enjoy the fall time, but our temperatures through the weekend in northern Utah in the 80-degree range. So whatever your outdoor recreational activity is, it is perfect weather. And if it is just maybe if 80s is a little bit too warm for you, you could head to the mountains. And it was in the 70s. So, and I was in the mountains, actually not in Utah this weekend. I was in the mountains of Idaho. And in the mornings, you had to put a hoodie or sweater, something on, because it was a little bit chilly. It was in about the 50s. And then throughout the day, it warmed up into the 70s. Perfect weather to ride a UTV, camp, do some golfing, just beautiful weather. So, and in the state of Utah also, low humidity. Camping spots were full this last weekend. They're full nearly every weekend, actually. Any questions this evening? That's pretty much what I have. I did release a new video yesterday or today, probably went out. Some of the reasons why people are not choosing the state of Utah. And it's some of the information that I receive. There are people who choose Utah. There are people who choose not to move to Utah. Totally fine. I never have believed that there is an ideal place for everyone. My brother was stationed in Hawaii years ago, back in the 90s. And I always thought, wow, that's the perfect assignment. You could live there year round. And after living there for a couple years, he enjoyed Hawaii. He likes Hawaii, but he said you get island fever. It's so difficult to come back to the mainland, or so much time to get a flight. And then you have the costs of flights. Where when you're on mainland United States, if you want to go from here, you want to go to Nevada, you want to go to Idaho, Montana, you just jump in the car, maybe $60, $80 worth of gas, and you're at your destination. If you're in Hawaii and you decide, hey, we want to go to Montana, well, you have to spend hundreds of dollars on a flight, and then it takes time, and then you have to rent a car when you get there. So he wasn't too keen on that whole Hawaii portion. There are things that he enjoyed in the mainland United States, or visiting relatives, et cetera, made it more difficult. But he enjoyed his time in Hawaii. Very beautiful place. We got to visit many times. So I'm not too sure that there is an ideal place for everybody to live. So whether it's name the state, there's advantages and disadvantages for everybody. You could take a state that's like Florida, and some people can't handle the high humidity. So, cross that off on the list for some individuals. Some individuals, high humidity, no problem. Get states in the far north, very, very cold, minus temperatures. Places like Green Bay, minus 10, 20, and just bitterly cold. So for some people, check that off the list. Any questions we have this evening before I call it a night? It's been a great week. Hope everybody has a great weekend. I will be back again next week. Thank you.